Hello, YouTube. I'm gonna make this quick. We have Blackthorn on the channel here, and of course, you guys know who he is. He's the guitar player for Thorns. He's played in Mayhem, Satyricon, and yeah, the guy's a legend, the originator of the Norwegian black metal riff. So, enough introduction. Let's talk. Let's
Thank
talk.
you,
So,
Dan.
yeah. So, just a quick chat about gear. I know
Yeah,
you showed me some of the stuff quickly, but if you can please let our subscribers know what guitars you're using right now, what pickups, what picks, and just your general preferences when it comes to guitars.
okay, the nerdy stuff is I have two guitars. I have a Gibson Les Paul Custom. Um, I have a Seymour Duncan distortion mics on it, which has good high output. And for more day-to-day work, I use the ESP E2 Horizon, which I've just had installed Duncan custom mics in, which sounds good too. And I have a bass guitar for the rumbling parts, just to have something to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
rumble with.
yeah. Of course, for us, for most of us guitarists, like the bass is just a thing that we need to have just to fill in the.
Yeah. For
Until we
songwriting, it's awesome.
Exactly, and then we have a actual bass player for the live stuff and the final recordings, but for the
Yeah,
demos and that, yeah. All right, sweet. And what picks are you using?
yeah. I'm. It's kind of peculiar. It's like speed picks with a twisted. You see
Oh,
that?
don't think I've ever seen them before. Oh,
No, they twist a little, so you don't need to twist your fingers so much when you riff.
I see, I see.
I shouldn't have started using this because I can't play with regular picks. So it's a bad decision from start to start playing with this strange stuff. They had it in the store when I was a kid, and I thought it was sweet, so I started using them. And since I've been helpless.
No, I get that because I'm in a similar boat. I'm using these Tortec
Okay.
straps. These are weapons. Like
Yeah.
these are fantastic for like just really kind of just getting in there,
Yeah.
playing. And then now when I play regular picks or anything else, even like I find those like jazz threes, like they're the most comfortable picks, but they don't have the clarity. And when it comes to amps and tone, when it comes to the black metal guitar tone, they want this kind of super insect-like kind of
Yeah.
guitar tone without any of the like the force or like
Yeah.
the balls basically.
No
And it's
bolts and no punch.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is one thing that I'd like to do is like remove stigma, like low quality production and even sometimes even low quality playing
Yeah.
in black metal playing because
Yeah.
yeah, my point
Yeah.
is just like part of now this is going into like discussion of songwriting because I believe like part of being a creative and an artist and making music is all about not only improving yourself and trying to make things better, but do the best with what you can and also what you have. Um,
Yeah, of course. And also try to make something that can stand for itself, and maybe um, have the right to its own life by being something new and different. Um, so I also try to like um, vary the way I address the songwriting. So many times it starts for us guitar players with a guitar riff, and we try to build up on that. We need to like I think we need to like make good songs, and they should like have the right to their life by being something special, something new, something you haven't heard a million times. So that's why I try to like address the song from a little different angle each time. Um, Even though you can't always do that, but try to find special things in what you have and develop that into something even more special.
Of course, because the worst thing is when you're listening to an album and every song is kind of the same, or they've kind of taken one riff that's like a little bit different from the other song.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah, and I hate myself when I go into that trap myself by like, okay, this is sounding a bit like the other song, or this part is like, okay, I've done this 10 times now, so I have to do something different.
no, of course, and
Um,
yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I love the Thorns album so much, is because every song is so distinct. Because you've got like, it starts off with the first song,
yeah, existence.
that little melody line right at the end is
Yeah,
wicked. You've got that break, then you've got this like weird kind of synthetic howling, and it's clear with the vocal coming in so strong, and it's this kind of like tribal drum style that Hellhammer's doing,
yeah,
and then you've got um I see all the song names have slipped my mind. Da na na ksh, da na na ba da na.
yeah.
Like
World Playground is it,
that's the
but
one.
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
the titles. When you write, how do you go about?
How do I go about songwriting? It's a very, very similar process to yours because I always start with the guitar riff.
Yeah,
Uh, the, the most was the most recent song I wrote. So the most recent song was basically, so I was just jamming around and I wanted to write a song in C sharp. I mean C standard. So I had my
yeah,
guitar in C standard, and then all I was doing for a good while was just playing riffs. Didn't record anything, but I was just playing the guitar so much, and then when you're playing, then you get that one riff that's like, yes,
yeah,
yes, I need this. And then you try and follow up with another riff, and it's like, yes, I need that one too.
yeah,
And then you come up with the third riff, it's like, yes, it's all kind of connecting.
yeah,
So then you have like then you keep doing that until you get 5 or 6 riffs. And then what I do is I start recording the sections one by one. And then I move some riffs around, and I let the song breathe.
yeah.
Because if I spend too much time focusing on one song, then it just
You
kind
get
of becomes
time.
too much. Yeah, because I don't want to
Yeah,
feel like I'm like, here's the thing, like you have to be a perfectionist with your song, but you can't like forget about it. You can't put it to the back of your mind sometimes. You've got to always be thinking about it. Like you've got to think like, okay, I want this kind of riff. I want the song to go like this. So the approach with the song is that I wanted an epic ending. I wanted it to be intense, brutal, and I wanted it to be quite technical as well, but also have melodic sections in there as well. So then I kind of mentally mapped out the song, and I got the riff for the end that I wanted, and then I had like some of the chorus riffs, and then all I needed was introduction riffs. So I recorded the riffs that I could, and then again, it's just that process of just playing. I think people really underestimate the part of playing when it comes to songwriting. Like, you don't have to be overly analytical, and you don't need to think about theory so much, because that can be paralyzing. Because
yeah,
there's times where I even pick up the guitar now when it's like, okay, if I want to make an evil riff, all I need to do is start on this chord, move up a tritone, then move it back this much and that much. Then I realize like
yeah,
it's the kind of the what's the word called? What's the word called? And the spontaneousness is lost.
yeah,
And this is
yeah,
the thing, like spontaneousness works so well with writing music, because every band at some point, some of their biggest songs are written in like 10 minutes as a
yeah,
group.
yeah. I know.
Yeah, when
It
you've got
just uh,
yeah,
it
when it's
just
really
works out.
yeah. So just to summarize, it basically starts off with the guitars, and then I record the sections, and then I think about then it's drums next. Drums are
Yeah,
a really important part for me and writing, because I don't like it when it's just like I like it like like more kind of like a more like I guess more of a death metal approach when it comes to the drumming, more
Yeah,
technical. Um, and I do want to ask you a couple questions about drums in just a moment, but like when it comes to drums, like that to me is, for me, drums are after the 60% of the song, because you can
yeah,
have songs with great guitars and great guitar work, but if the drumming's boring and doesn't complement the guitars too well, or if even the guitar playing doesn't complement the drums, then it just sounds really empty. And using a Thorn song from it as an example, it's Interface to God. Ba, ticka, ticka, da, 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 ticka, ticka, da, da. Having those kinds of percussive riffs, working
yeah,
with a really good drummer, game over. That's
yeah. That's
that's so
important.
key,
That's
so
important.
important. And then after that, it's bass. I tried to make the bass melodic when it needs to be, and it has to suit the purpose. It doesn't have to be too technical, but it has to be just right for the music and work with the
Yeah,
drum, especially. Then I think about vocals last. Because I think if you have a really good song musically, the vocals can just tie up the loose ends.
okay, yeah,
That's, that's my kind of thinking. And when it comes to lyrical content, as long as the song isn't about like rainbows and unicorns and come on, you can't make string music and talk about like flowers and
yeah.
uh,
Certainly we can. But um, is that like the whole process you do, and then you demo stuff and try to arrange it on the computer?
correct. Yes. So I have the entire demo track, all the riffs in sections, the drum programmings, the bass parts and everything. They're all there. And then when I come to do the final recordings, I experiment a little bit because sometimes my mind changes and it's like, okay, no, I need to add a section, I need to take a section, or I need to add a harmony here, or I need to add something else that just links these sections. When it comes to writing, that's when it comes to like general personal songwriting. But when it comes to writing as a band, um, really the best thing to do is work together. Just
Yeah,
work with someone, either as
yeah,
the guitarist or drummer, bassist. As long as you sit down with someone. Like one of my favorite songs I've ever written was just when my keyboardist, we just hung out and we came up with guitar parts, and she came up with keyboard parts for it, and we came up with a really epic half of, like, the first half of the song was so epic, and then um, me and Billy, my guitarist, we wrote the second half of the song together, and it turned out to be like some really kind of aggressive, melodic, epic, almost video game and Final Fantasy inspired song with a
yeah,
really, really heavy ending. So, and that goes to another thing as well when it comes to inspirations. Like, you can't be closed-minded about the music you listen to because everything has some kind of value. Because even if the
yeah,
music is bad,
yeah. I
it's
agree.
not
I
what you want
agree.
to make. You can avoid it. Like I remember there was one part in the Helvete documentary where you're like, I hate the Beatles, and I was like, gang, all right, yeah, like but just being direct and be like, no, I hate this. That gives you such
Yeah,
good kind of trajectory into the kind of songs you want to make. So it's very
yeah,
important to be open-minded and truly think about truly think about what you want to make. Um,
yeah. Remember when we started out, there were like no rules or no um, how to do this or what the music should sound like or anything. So we like took parts from anything that was cool and put together in new ways. But later it was kind of shaped into this. This is metal. This is black metal. This is how things should sound. And I'm trying to go back before that to try to steal stuff from different genres and put things together that don't fit. Try to think different when it comes to the format of the song, the arrangement. Uh, when we were kids, we listened a lot to punk and hardcore as well, which was kind of shorter, not that long, epic
hmm,
style songs always. and I have like a kind of short attention span, so I quickly get bored when listening to music, and this is what I have to comment upon the Beatles things as well, that hating something musically is a good drive force to make something different, you know. So I've gone from uh, listening to music I don't like many times back home and being like, fuck this, it's too silly, too stupid music. So I need to make something better. So that's a good inspiration
I agree.
to dislike something.
No, I honestly agree because I remember when I first started out, when I started writing songs, I was like, no, this has to be the most aggressive thing that I can make. This has to be like the band of all bands. This has to be like the most aggressive thing. And I was like, I'm getting sick of all these. Because at the time it was like people were listening to a lot of Lamb of God and thinking they were like kind of cool and badass. And I was like listening to like Nile and Mayhem and all these cool blast beat heavy bands. I was like, no, this is more aggressive, and it was kind of like I think hatred is such a good fuel for making extreme music because it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
it
yeah.
because it's what it all stems from. It all really
Yeah,
what it stems from. It's like you think because you have to. There's an odd arrogance to it because you have to be like, no, this sucks, and I need to change things,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then you go and
And
change it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
like you can execute when you play instrument, you can like execute your feelings into movements, and it's very healthy.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an odd therapeutic
Yeah.
experience as well. Now, if I want to ask about like when it w working with the musicians in the early black metal scene, who was who was the most fun to work with?
uh, I didn't work too much with too many, but no, for me it was kind of like my bass player, because we
Mm,
had a good back and forth thing. Um, and it was learning to play with Øystein Euronymous
mm,
and Hellhammer and Mayhem. But later I've been working a lot with Satyr, Sigurd Wongraven of
mm.
Satyricon, and I picked up some stuff from him.
Yes.
Yes, they have given me access to a lot of good people and good places and good gear and stuff like that. And good, we have had ton of good discussions about music,
Mm.
all aspects of it. So uh, I
Yeah.
guess I have to put my weight on him, actually.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool because like Satira is one of those people that I would love to meet one day and just have a chat with. You know, drink some of
Yeah,
his wine and just
yeah,
have like a chat
yeah.
with him because he's someone that I really really look up to um because he's doing everything that I've always wanted to do. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
in a way.
Yeah, like I see on his Instagram and he's like driving Porsches around and like doing his wine business and the music and it's it's very inspiring to me. It's very,
Yeah,
very inspiring like
he
that.
has maxed out on those aspects. So
Yeah.
um,
And no, he's just one of those people that I like to speak to from
yeah,
time to time as well. And Frost as well, because I'm a big 1349 fan.
yeah,
Yeah, and I've seen them so many times. I've met a couple of the members briefly, but I would like to have a sit down chat with Frost and just talk music and stuff. And understand like his approach from himself in his own words when it comes
yeah.
to working and even his songwriting kind of methods as well.
I can tell you a little bit how I try to write songs.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I started like you in that kind of general direction, and more I've started to finding that what I miss in metal is like the vocal to be the driving uh, part of the song, and that rhythms are too boring. Drums are doing the same as you mentioned, so try to not stay away from it, but portion it out more dynamically, the intensity of things. And when I have like a riff like this, I think, okay, is there going to be vocals on it? And I think maybe. So I also try to write some silly lines just to have something to visualize vaguely as vocals in it. And then I try to make the next part something else, depending on what I want to do next, to contrast the first riff, or to just say that the first riff can be a refrain or a bridge and the next one needs to be a verse. And I make songs like building blocks, and I try not to use too much fudge. I like to stack things tightly and keep arrangements short and snappy.